as she becomes the all-time leading career home run hitter in Wildcat softball history. But it wasn't enough on this day as Kentucky drops the second of 3, and you see that even though the Wildcats have dropped the first 2 games, they've actually out-hit Missouri 22-20 in those 2 contests. So, Carol, there you take a look at Autumn Humes, the junior from Bald Knob, Arkansas, who had pitched awfully well for the Wildcats until Friday night.
It was the Game 1 starter. We see her here again in Game 3. Expect her to be a different pitcher today. You're going to see a drop-rise curve combination, has an effective off-speed, which she absolutely will have to have firing today to slow down these Missouri hitters.
4 2/3 on Friday night. She gave up 8 runs, 8 hits, and as you said, they were all earned. Walked 3 in the process. And the hot-hitting Tigers ready to go with Brooke Wilmus leading it off. Wilmus with that average all the way up to 337. She got her second homer of the season yesterday. Two for 8 in the series this weekend.
Just a real spark plug for Missouri at the top of the lineup. You know, typically a singles hitter, can also bunt her way on base, but has shown great power in this series. Had the double in extra innings to put the Tigers up for good in Game 1. And as you mentioned, the long ball yesterday.
Chad Steers, our home plate umpire. Tatum Stolting-Pena down at third, and Brian Crochet at first today. And that one is lined to left for a leadoff single. Wilmus with a big turn.
Wilmus, just any ball close to that zone, she takes it the other way, drives the ball hard, swings aggressively, gets a lot out of her swing. It doesn't hit it on the nose, but ball has eyes right now for Missouri as well. Just it's been a hitting parade for this team the last 2 games.
Tatum Spangler with a nice job of getting it back in and keeping it from turning into an extra base hit as Reagan Nash takes a first pitch strike.
It's something that I talked with Coach Anderson before the game, and along with Chris Malveaux, their hitting coach. You know, what's the secret this weekend? And one of the things they both talked about was their plate discipline. They haven't seen it from their team the entire season at this consistent level. They have narrowed the zone, and they're really working hard to hit pitches in the zone. They've had a lot of success.
Yeah, that's a dandy bunt right down in front of the plate, and it took a great play by Cheek and an even better play by Mallory Payton to get the first out, but the sacrifice still works, and Wilmus is at second.
Exceptional bunt. It's on the ground a long time, and Abby Cheek comes to the first base side to field it, picks it up barehanded. It's still a close play, but as you mentioned, superstar of that play. What great concentration by Mallory Payton to hang on for the out. Part of that discipline for Missouri this weekend, not only have they earned every run they've had, 21 runs, 21 earned runs, that good plate discipline, they've also drawn 16 walks in 2 games, and that's not something that Missouri has done a lot this year, something Coach Anderson was very proud of this morning.
Jasmine Rolland, who had a 2-run homer in the opener on Friday night, now even at the count at 1-1. 1 down, and Wilmus on second.
Humes in a much better rhythm than we saw on Friday night. Thought for the first time all season long, got a little frustrated too out there in the circle and didn't help her, but she seems to be in a very good place today. Knows her team needs her to have a good performance. The Kentucky pitching staff has really struggled this weekend.
Humes with a 2-2.
This part of the lineup for Missouri has been very productive. Especially yesterday, a lot of long balls, RBIs, on-base percentage. They have just, the first 4 hitters in this lineup have been extremely productive for Missouri. It's paid off.
And now Rollin has battled back to work the count full.
Kentucky knows Rollins' power to the pull side, which usually drives the ball well to the center field, right field side. A lot of her home runs have been shots, 300-foot shots to the left side, to the right side of the field. And Humes is staying consistent and pounding the outside part of the plate right now. They're trying to get Rollin to swing and miss, or at least hit outside of her power a little bit.
Rounded to second, and Martins makes a nice play. And Wilmus goes into third. Kentucky defense. Humes in the circle, Shaper behind the plate, Cheek, Reed, Martins, and Payton in the infield as per normal. And in the outfield, left to right, Tatum Spangler getting a start today, Kowalik in center, and Sarah Rainwater in right. And with 2 down, the third baseman, Kim Wirt, steps to the plate. Wirt got her 9th homer of the year on Friday night as well, of the 2-run variety. She's also 2 for 8 in the series, but she has got 5 RBIs. Nice play by Shaper.
Those are the plays in the game that go a little bit unnoticed.
Right.
You know, there's nothing you write in the scorebook. There's nothing, no way to document that. But Jenny Shaper absolutely saved a run with Wilmus at third base and her speed. That ball gets past Shaper at all, she easily scores. Jenny Shaper's so mobile behind the plate. Does what it takes to keep the ball in front.
Cheek on a couple of hops. Gets it to go. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. The Cats come to bat in the home half of the first.
For Missouri in the first inning, no run.
Nothing going for the Tigers in the first. So the Wildcats step to the plate for the first time on this sunny Sunday afternoon. And they face a familiar face in Maddie Norman. She had much the same fate as Humes did on Friday night. Norman only pitched 3 innings, gave up 8 hits and 6 runs. 5 were earned. But Carol, she came in yesterday to get the final 2 outs and get the save in the Tigers' second victory of the weekend.
Yeah, save, not a typical role for Norman, but came in and shut the door on the Cats. Today she gets the start. She's the ace of this staff. She's going to throw in the mid-60s. Her best pitch is a down pitch. She's going to work down in the zone with a drop change combination, and she's a real leader for this Missouri team, a 5th-year senior on the mound, and excited to have the ball today in Game 3.
The Wildcats today put Kayla Kowalik up top. Reed in the second spot, Shaper now third, Cheek, Martins, Payton, Johnson, Humes, and Sarah Rainwater. I mean, Rachel Lawson has gotten good production. She just hadn't gotten it at the right time. I think, 20-plus runners left on base over the weekend?
Yeah, and 3 different lineups. This is the 3rd game of the series, and we've seen 3 different batting orders, just really trying to find that combination that's going to work this weekend. And credit to Coach Lawson. At the end of the day, the players have to make plays. They have to make plays on defense, on offense. You try to prepare them and put them in a good position, good place to be successful. But some things you can control would be the lineup and the order. And credit to Coach Lawson for trying to tinker with that a little bit.
She certainly has a belief in her team and her players, but one thing she won't do is stand pat. And an illegal pitch called. So the count 1-1 on Kowalik. Freshman slapper, 364, 17 knocked in. Kowalik with 2 hits on Friday night, hitless in the leadoff spot yesterday.
He's a dangerous hitter. Can bunt her way on base, slaps, power slaps. He doesn't swing away a whole lot, but can from time to time, but mainly is a soft slap, power slap. Infield must play in, outfield's got to play normal depth, and she can run very well.
Norman comes back and just misses on the inside to run the count full to Kentucky's leadoff hitter.
Good velocity from Norman today. Throwing the ball hard.
Shortstop Rolland flips over, and 1 up and 1 down.
Shortstop's a position that Rolland is trying to learn at warp speed. We've seen what she can do on offense, and Coach Anderson's given her the opportunity at shortstop, and the game can get really fast out there for you, the speed of the game, if you haven't played a lot of at the collegiate level softball, and Rolland seems to be getting better and better through every game.
Katy Reed takes the first pitch outside. 376 hitter, 6 homers, 26 knocked in. Reed 4 for 8 on the weekend. Maybe one of the best days we've had for softball here in Lexington. 58 degrees, winds from the south-southwest at 8 miles an hour.
Katy Reed's really another leadoff hitter for the Cats. She's been in that leadoff role off and on throughout her entire career. So with Kowalik not getting on base, this is a good spot for her. She can bunt her way on base. Good hitter.
Boy, took something off that pitch, did Norman, and had her way out in front.
The Kentucky action already in the bullpen. Yesterday they got into trouble pretty early. Shorman having to come out in the first inning, and I could tell they were struggling to get somebody up and ready to go. That's not going to happen today, as they've got activity very early in this game.
Tap back to the pitcher. And quickly 2 up and 2 down. Here's the Missouri defense. Norman in the circle. Moore behind the plate. Wirt, Rolland, Bailey, and Romaine. Nash, Martin, and Wilmus left to right in the outfield. And that ball drilled toward the Kentucky pen. I had to do a double take, Carol, because you've got Grace Ballman up throwing down in the Kentucky pen, but you've also got the lefty Tatum Spangler, who started this game in left field, loosening up as well.
Yep, she's on the lineup card, started in that 10 spot, but then entered to play left field for the DP as soon as the game started. So Rachel Lawson's very creative with her lineup. She uses that DP flex just better than almost anybody in the country. If you have to have the personnel to do it, first of all, you have to have a lot of pitchers who can hit and versatile players, and she does have that this season.
Hammered to third. Word easily across the diamond. And a 1-2-3 inning for Missouri, who comes to bat in the top half of the second in a scoreless game. Wildcats and the Tigers have scored a bunch of runs this weekend. One of the first times we may have had an entire scoreless inning this weekend, Carol. And you take a look at that youth movement. Look at that. And, I had a chance to visit with you a little bit and Larissa Anderson before the game. I mean, what an impressive coach. And, I mean, the situation she's come into, what an outstanding job she's done.
Well, you look at a team that's filled with freshmen and sophomores and how they are producing, and you put that on top of a brand new coach, brand new coaching staff, a lot of adversity for this team last year. They've had some transfers leave. They've had some transfers in. It has been quite the culture dynamic.
Sure.
And, Coach Anderson and her staff have managed that very well. She feels like this team has bought in from day one, and having watched them now throughout the season, about halfway through, they just continue to get better every day.
Humes now 1-1 to Gina Torres. Hitting .383 is the Missouri DP. It's great for us, Carol, to see new coaches like that come into the league, but it's not a surprise to you because in your position as the executive director of the Coaches Association, you're aware of how many great coaches there are out there that we may not be aware of.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, Hofstra, school she was at for many, many years with the legendary NFCA Hall of Fame coach Bill Edwards in charge of that program. The field is now named after him. There at Hofstra, they are a softball program that's been on the map for many, many years. They've been to many regionals, super regionals, conference champions in the Colonial League, and Coach Anderson's had a lot to do with that. She's been there almost 20 years. Really in a variety of roles as an assistant coach,
Sure.
associate head coach, and then the head coach the last 4 years. And, just really enjoyed her time at Hofstra, loves Hofstra, has done an exceptional job there, and as has Bill Edwards, of course, but now she, has accepted this new challenge at Missouri, loves Columbia, loves the college town atmosphere, and the challenge of playing in the SEC.
That ball flared out into left center for a base hit, and then bobbled out there, and Torres doesn't slow down and allows her to chug in to second base. So I would assume that would be a single and an error on the fielding play. Kowalik couldn't field it cleanly. And Missouri in business.
Another flare hit out in front. Torres gets out in front, but Kowalik can't come up with the ball cleanly there. Just lack of concentration, and heads up base running by Torres to take the extra base.
And I think that Larissa Anderson is going to go. She will go with a pinch runner. Looks like it will be 28, Gabby Harrison.
Pitch runner for Missouri, number 28, Gabby Harrison. Now batting for the Tigers, number 31, Hattie Moore.
So Humes surrenders a base hit in the first inning and able to get out of the jam. And now Torres, the leadoff hitter here in the second. Out there at second for the catcher, Hattie Moore. I keep wanting to call her Maddie. Why do I want to do that? Ball gets away from Schaefer.
Well, her battery mate's Maddie Norman.
Maddie and Hattie.
So it would be Maddie squared.
The Maddie and Hattie show, yeah.
It is the Maddie and Hattie show, yes.
That'll be a wild pitch. So it doesn't go down as an error, but a wild pitch. But two miscues back to back. And now Garrison, the pinch runner at third.
Yeah, every pitch matters. Every pitch matters. The concentration and the execution. And And you're absolutely right. Would have been a little flare base hit for Torres to start off the inning, and instead you've got the speedy Garrison now, the pinch runner at third base. Still nobody out.
Or 3 for 8 in the series. Cheek and Payton in at the corners. And it'll be interesting to see what Larissa Anderson does with her catcher now. She's ahead in the count 3-0.
I always like to see what a pitcher does the next play after they've had some adversity. So they gave up a home run. What'd you do with the next batter?
Right.
You know, your defense made an error behind you. What did you do with the next batter? And this is what we saw from Humes. This pitch clearly out of the zone. We saw from Humes a little bit on Friday night. There was some adversity, whether it was she thought she, didn't get a strike called, or, just a hard hit by the Missouri team, whatever it might be. Then the cycle continued, and here we see it again.
Wow.
They had a flare hit. Outfielder had a miscue, and then we've had a wild pitch. Then we come back and have a walk, and now another wild pitch. So, very important right now for Humes to not let this thing spiral out of control.
So Colby Romaine, that's a shot to left, and that's a base hit. It'll score the pitch runner Garrison. In comes Moore, the catcher. Nobody out here in the second. And once again, when Missouri gets runners on base, at least this weekend, they have made the Wildcats pay.
Well, they have. And how about Autumn Humes? Different pitcher in inning 2, as we've seen in inning 1. This pitch, too much of the plate. Colby Romaine goes down and gets this ball a little bit down in the zone, but over the white part of the plate, mishandled again in the outfield. Missouri's on the board.
So Kendall Bailey now steps in, takes a first pitch strike. Bailey hitting 172 is the Missouri second baseman. Reed handles that in the infield, and that's out number 1.
We talked to Coach Lawson before the game just briefly, and that's the number one thing she said. Our pitchers have got to make better pitches. When you go back and look at the film, it just, she maybe call a pitch supposed to be low and in, and the pitch is up and out, or, whatever it might be. So, just like hitting's contagious, pitching can be a little contagious too as a staff, and it has not been a good weekend for the Wildcats in the circle after having really, through that 12-game win streak, just some really stellar performances led by Autumn Humes.
And now Missouri has gone through the order as the 9-hitter. Callie Martin looks at an 0-1 pitch.
That's such a good pitch from Humes. That low drop ball, she kind of cuts it to the inside part of the plate. It's a very difficult pitch to hit if you're a right-handed power hitter. See, it's breaking late, catches that inside part of the zone.
And that one is foul of third.
If you're a catcher calling the game or a coach calling the game, it's so much fun when your pitcher has everything going. They can locate the ball, they're spinning the ball, they've got an off speed. It's really fun to call a game. It's very challenging to call a game when you know a pitcher's down to 1 pitch. She's really struggling out there, she's behind.
And that's a call, third strike for the second out of the inning.
And this has been Autumn Humes' go-to pitch. That low inside drop ball. It's breaking down. It bites late. Really freezes Callie Martin on that pitch. But that has been the pitch that has been working very well for Autumn Humes. Just has to be careful she's not using that pitch too much.
And so Missouri back to the top of the order to Brooke Wilmus, who led things off with a single back in the first. Boy, we did not get a call there from Chad Steers, the home plate umpire, and Hume said, hey, can you check and see if she swung on the bunt attempt? And out there at second base, Tatum Pena said yes. So the count 0-1. Right back to Humes, and that will end the inning. But not before the Tigers get 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error. They leave 1 on base. Wildcats come up trailing 2-0.
2 runs on 2 hits, 1 Kentucky.
Abby Cheek ready to lead things off for Kentucky here in the second. And that was a history-making swing yesterday, Carol.
Came into the game with 48 career home runs, left the game with 49, which puts her as the all-time home run leader at Kentucky. Such a powerful hitter. That's a list of who's who in Kentucky power hitting history, and she now is at the top, and rightfully so. Just an explosive, powerful swing.
And steps to the plate with her club, trailing 2-0. And shows bunt and takes a first pitch strike. Cheek a 3-for-3 day yesterday, 4 hits in the series. Got that average up to 487. And that one is hit to deep center field and gone. I didn't think she got all of that, Carol, but it was enough. The wind blowing out just enough. So Abby Cheek adds to that record-setting Kentucky total and pulls the Wildcats back to within 1.
Well, how about 50 home runs now in her career? Seeing the ball so well this weekend. This pitch is up in the zone. Norman rarely goes up in the zone, but she's trying to throw everything she can at Cheek to get her out. And as you mentioned, slightly mishit this ball. Didn't even get it off the end of the bat. But with her power, it is enough to add to her new title of career record holder. She sits at 50.
Just shows you the power that Abby Cheek has. And in steps the young lady who hit a grand slam in the first yesterday in terms of Alex Martins. Oh, did you see that? Our camera operator down there in the third base dugout had to do some quick reacting right there to avoid that. Told that Sophie down on the third base camera, who's known for a quick first step. Martins. And Rollin back a couple of steps out on the grass to haul it in. And in will step Mallory Payton.
Now batting for Kentucky, number 13, Mallory Payton.
You know, some hitters, Peyton's been so consistent all season long, but she has not had a great series here against Missouri, and you just kind of get that feeling. It's a matter of time, to hold a hitter down that has just consistently been solid all season long for Kentucky.
Remember Friday night, she hit one out there to the tractors that was foul. And then you talk about Missouri, and you've got to give them every bit of credit for that timely hitting, but on Friday night, Kentucky had 2 home runs taken away. Cheek had one taken away at the top of the fence and right. I can't remember whether it was Shaper or Reed with the bases juiced.
Reed.
Right off the top of the fence and left. And the game went to an 8th inning where Missouri was able to push 2 across and get the series opening win.
It's been a good team effort for for Missouri.
Really has.
To earn these wins. They've have not relied on one pitcher. They have used a variety of pitchers to earn the wins. They have played consistent defense, not perfect defense, but consistent defense, and they've had a ton of hits, especially of the long ball variety. Doubles, home runs, lots of RBIs. Now they sit at 23 runs on the weekend, all 23 earned runs. So they're just, doing what it takes to be successful.
3 hits for the Tigers on the afternoon to account for their 2 runs. Wildcats' only hit coming on the leadoff homer by Cheek here in the second. Payton hammers it, and Wirt right there again.
Now when Maddie Norman's on her game, you're going to see a lot of ground balls. And that's exactly what she gets here as Payton is on top of the ball. Wirt with the throw over, but Norman's faced 6 batters, 4 ground balls so far, and that's when you know she's on her game. She's spinning the ball, it's breaking late in the zone, it's breaking down hard. Kentucky needing to make that adjustment. The pitch that Cheek hit over the fence was a high pitch, and Norman rarely goes upstairs. She does once in a while, and just to give the hitters another look, kind of stretch those eyes, and Cheek made her pay. But other than that, Norman has been very solid so far in the circle.
Lauren Johnson went deep in Friday night's loss for her 3rd of the season. Couple of hits and 9 trips to the plate this weekend. And the 0-2 from Norman.
And there she shows you that upstairs look as well. It's just to mix it in. It's not her best pitch, a little rise ball up in the zone, but every now and then it catches hitters off guard. Sometimes she does get a few strikeouts on it, but more importantly, it just keeps hitters honest in the zone, stretches the zone.
Back up the middle and underneath. The diving Wilmus. Kentucky's 2nd hit of the day, 2nd hit of the inning. I think Rachel Lawson thought about it for a minute. I don't know if she'll go with a pinch runner or not.
And Johnson just gets enough of this drop ball and has enough on it to get it past the outstretched arms of Kendall Bailey, who goes hard for the ball but just can't get there. It's got too much pace on it.
You're exactly right. Thank you, Carol. It's Bailey, not Wilmus. And in steps Autumn Humes, who's hitting for herself today.
Norman has also worked from ahead today. You haven't struggled a lot Friday night with working from ahead. She's been ahead of the hitters majority of the game. That allows you to throw all your pitches, stretch the zone.
Humes with 3 hits and 18 at-bats. Johnson at first. And 2 out in the inning. The 9-hitter for Kentucky, Sarah Rainwater, waits on deck. Got a piece of it, but Norman got it by her on the inside part of the plate.
Yeah, she's done a nice job of stretching the plate. Haven't seen too many over the middle, the white part of the plate. She's really working the corners. in complete command today.
Bailey's got that one. And the inning is over. But the Wildcats put together a couple of hits. They get one run out of the big swing as Abby Cheek goes deep for number 50. Wildcats still trail 2-1. We go to the top of the third. And the Wildcats trying to avoid the sweep this weekend, trailing Missouri 2-1. Dave Baker, Carol Bruggeman. And there you take a look at Katy Reed, who is having quite the year.
And quite the career. She was named an NFCA All-American last season, preseason All-SEC this year. Already accepted into Pittsburgh Dental Tool. Just a true scholar athlete, top 30 finalist for the Senior Class Award. She'll be leaving today to head up to Indianapolis. The Walter Byers Postgraduate Scholarship Award. She's in contention for that. And just, true epitome of a student athlete. Does it in the classroom. She's a captain on this team. They affectionately call her the president for a reason.
And Reagan Nash, even in the count at 1-1. Katy Reed is not on a pitch count today. She is on a time count because the interviews take place in Indianapolis today for that postgraduate scholarship, which is incredibly prestigious. And so she's got interviews in Indianapolis beginning at 6:30. I don't know if that's Eastern or Central time, but Rachel Lawson said that she was kicking her out of the dugout at 3 o'clock to get on the road.
And that could play a factor today because Friday's game was over 3 hours. Yesterday's game just shy of 3 hours. There's been a lot of hitting, a lot of pitching changes in this series, a lot of walks. So that could come into play.
How about, speaking of coming into play, how about that play?
We've been watching this one-on-one game between Reagan Nash and Abby Cheek all weekend
Haven't we,
long.
though? That's a great
and
call.
It's been a battle. It's been pretty even. And Reagan Nash absolutely hits a rocket over to Cheek, and she uses, you can see her shaking her hand off a little bit, every body part to knock it down, but makes the play. Just good reactions over there from Abby Cheek.
She's going to be careful. She doesn't want to do that too many times, though. When she's still trying to shake the numbness out of it. As Rollin takes the first pitch just outside.
Continue to work the outside part of the plate to Rollin, just not giving in, not to this point. And she has earned that. Rollin is one of the best freshmen in the SEC.
After you saw that homer she hit Friday night, you wouldn't give it either. I mean, that was a rocket.
She's hitting .460 coming into this game as a freshman, and that is it's not easy to do at any level, especially in this league. And, she can steal bases. She can bunt and slap if she wants to, but she usually is swinging that big stick because she has so much power packed in it.
Just got such a nice setup at the plate. Hands, the balance. Cheek going over toward the dugout now and just runs out of room.
Yeah, I call that with Rollin. She wins the eyeball test. She's just
Yes.
a good athlete
Right.
and, strong, tall, young lady. And then on top of that, she has a great presence at the plate. She just looks like a hitter, so she passes all that before she even swings the bat.
One of those deals where you walk in the park and go, who's that kid?
Yep, you send her first off the bus.
Right back up the middle. She got that chance, and that's what great hitters do. And she is just getting started on what I predict will be an outstanding career in this conference.
And doesn't try to do too much. This pitch is, on the outside part of the plate. She's been seeing it there her entire at-bats today and doesn't try to do too much with it. Doesn't try to yank it over the fence, pull it, just takes it right back up the middle and just showing the maturity of a very experienced hitter, even though she's a freshman.
And in stands Kim Wirt, who grounded out to Cheek, and Rollin took a peek Oh my gosh. She took off in a hurry, and I thought she easily had that base stolen, and Shaper's throw, I mean, made it a bang-bang play.
Yeah, neither one of these teams have given up a lot of stolen bases on the year, and Shaper gets a great pitch. It's up and out. Reed is getting there just a tad late right when the ball does, and it's a very close play. But Rollin, I love Missouri's aggressiveness today. They are aggressive on all levels, nothing to lose. You can tell they're playing for a sweep.
Work takes a start. Rollins 7 of 8 now on the base paths. She got one yesterday for number 6. And she was caught stealing on Friday night. But this is the spot right here, Carol, where Missouri has separated themselves from Kentucky this weekend. When they have got runners in scoring position, they have been outstanding this weekend.
And it's rarely been bloop hit here or a weak hit there. They have squared the ball up.
Like that. Wow. Precisely what we were talking about has worked. Gets her 2nd of the weekend, her 10th on the season. RBIs number 26 and 27. And Missouri extends the lead to 4-1.
Well, this is a confident hitting team, but why not? Look at Autumn Humes, the body language. She knows it as soon as she lets the pitch go. She doesn't even want to look. Hangs the shoulders, hangs the head. She knew she left that too much over the plate. Cannot do that against a very hot hitting team in Missouri, especially up in the lineup with these power hitters and Rollin and Wirt. And Wirt makes her pay a huge 2-run home run for Missouri.
Am I right? Is that there? Again, I wasn't here yesterday, but at least between today and Sunday, that's Missouri's 3rd 2-run homer of the weekend that I can remember. And Gabby Harrison, who stayed in after pinch running, she passes that eye test too, lines out on the first pitch for the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, stays aggressive. Good timing in the box, but that ball had kind of the Adams disease, hit it right at him, right at Katy Reed.
The other thing too, Carol, is Hattie Moore stands in. That Rachel Lawson was talking to us about before the game. We see what happens up here, but we don't know what the pitch call was. And the frustrating thing for her this weekend is that many of those hits or walks, I mean, they haven't even been close to what the call was.
Yeah, and she talked about that before the game. After getting a chance to review film, we have to pitch better. And there's no doubt we saw that right there with Humes. Left that one over the plate for Wirt. But credit to Missouri. If you're not ready to jump on every pitch that is in the zone, is in, pitch you're looking for, you see a lot of hitters a lot of times, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and we have not seen that from Missouri. They've been disciplined. It's laying off the balls, and when it's been in the zone, they've been attacking.
I don't know what the preseason prognostications were right off the top of my head. But I know it's a long season too, but if Missouri softball was a stock, it would be listed as a buy right now. I mean,
yeah, they were preseason 13th. And,
13th.
And to be honest with you, there were points in time in their season where they did not play well. Coach Anderson would tell you that. They played at a tournament in Louisville. I went and watched them play a little bit, and they struggled. They lost to a lot of games there. I think they went 1-3, and that's generous. They just had a struggle, and midweek, let's go back 5 days. They lost to Bradley 8-1, a very good Bradley team, but lost at home to Bradley 8-1
right.
As Moore draws the walk, and that's what Coach Anderson has talked about. This team has the ability to compete, they have the ability to play at a high level, but they're very inconsistent. They knock off number 8 Georgia twice, they lose to Bradley midweek, and then they come here and
Sure.
knock off Kentucky.
Sure.
So it's been a team that's been up and down all season long, but they certainly have hit their stride this weekend.
So Moore draws the walk, and in stands Colby Romaine, who got the 2 RBIs in the first inning with a base hit. And again, you mentioned it earlier, Carol, in terms of what do you do after you have some adversity. Humes gives up the homer. And then there was a first pitch line out by Garrison, and then follows that up with the walk. Trying to get out of the inning here in the top of the third.
I think that's been Hume's biggest battle this weekend, is what's going on in, between the ears, from the neck up. Just having a tough time kind of fighting through, missing some pitches, not able to come back and fight through that. Very uncharacteristic. But Coach Lawson continues to, stay with her. We're early in the game here, but continues to stay with her. And again, why not? She's earned that right in the 12-game win streak. When Humes pitched in 6 of those games, she had a .55 ERA, and they were playing some good teams. So showing a lot of faith in Autumn Humes. She's been the SEC Pitcher of the Week.
A couple of times, right?
But she's had a tough time this
weekend.
weekend.
That ball lifted to right. And that will end the inning, but not before. The Tigers get 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1 on base. Missouri extends its lead to 4-1. The Missouri Tigers, with a couple of more in the top of the third inning, they have extended their lead to 4-1 as they look to complete the sweep of Kentucky. It'll be 9 in the top of the order for the Wildcats as Sarah Rainwater stands in for the first time. Rainwater hitting 158, a homer, 9 knocked in.
This weekend has been a mental challenge.
Oh, yeah.
For Kentucky. Every time they've, fought back or maybe taken the lead every now and then, or just fought back. They cut the score in half last inning with a Cheek home run, 2-1. Missouri has answered. And so, Kentucky, it's just how the game goes. They got to be tougher. You've got to find a way to get one back and keep battling. But it has been more of a mental and emotional struggle here for Kentucky, and credit to Missouri because they just keep coming at you this weekend. They've scored in more innings than they have not scored.
All the innings that they have not scored in are few and far between. Only 7 out of the 18 innings so far this weekend had they not scored. As Rainwater draws a leadoff walk for the top of the order in Kayla Kowalik.
Well, not what Norman wants to do here. This is the best way for Kentucky to get back into the game, is to get some free passes. This pitch is a drop ball that does not drop. Actually goes up and out of the zone.
Kowalik grounded out to the shortstop, and that bunt goes foul.
If I'm Kentucky, I would really work hard to get this bunt down the first base line. Wirt is taking control of most of the bunts. We've got Hattie Moore behind the plate covering things on the first base side, but they're keeping Romaine back, and they're having Bailey cover second. Looks like they're talking about it now. They may switch that up.
Everybody's in now.
Because if Kowalik can put one right down the first baseline, she's not only has an opportunity to move Rainwater, but with the defense that Missouri is in, Bailey covering second, Romaine the first baseman back, and they have a good opportunity for both players to be safe.
Well, I'm telling you, just a nice pitch by Norman, but I have been most impressed with Hattie Moore this weekend. I think she is just such a good receiver and framer of pitches back there. And I think she had a lot to do with getting that call right there for her pitcher, who now works 1 and 2.
Big strikeout for Norman. Not sure what Kowalik was looking for, because this is a miss by Maddie Norman. It's a drop that stays up in the zone again, and Kowalik just doesn't swing, but a huge strikeout for Norman.
First of the game for Norman. And in stands Katy Reed. Grounded out back to the pitcher in her only time up. Oh, and look at Rollin. Did they get it? No. Reed hustling down the line. What a sweet play by Rollin out at shortstop, though, to give him a chance to turn that double play.
Showing you her athleticism.
Wow.
You know, like Coach Anderson said, right now we kind of live and die with her at short, and she has just come into her own this weekend. Just a little glove flip, but not only is it a glove flip, a smart play, you don't have to waste time transferring because the ball's taking her to second, but she flips it right where Bailey can turn it, up in the zone, up into her chest, but Katy Reed hustles down, prevents the double play.
So Reed now at first, 2 out. And Jenny Shaper trying to start a 2-out rally.
Reed always a steal threat over there at first base. Hasn't been thrown out yet this year, 12 of 12. And you can tell Missouri, the dugout's focusing on her, and just always a threat.
And she takes off with 2 outs, and that ball, wow. Rollin got turned around, but she hauled it in. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We've played 3 complete. And the Tigers lead it 4-1. So the Wildcats trail 4-1 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. You see the numbers in terms of NCAA appearances, and it is impressive, Carol.
Yeah, and both teams on that list. And, you know, you have to stay above 500. That's first and foremost. Both right now, I mean, Kentucky's RPI coming into the weekend was 7. Missouri's 40. So both would be in the consideration. But tough part for Missouri is they've been implemented by the NCAA a postseason ban for, you know, a lot of their sports for some academic issues and some other things. And unfortunately, softball is on that list. So they are appealing. But as you and I both know, appeal processes take a long time. So I think that decision will have to be made, you know, prior to the end of the season. But certainly in line right now, both teams are to be considered for that postseason bid.
Things that happened before this staff was in place.
Yeah, none of the current players were involved in it. That's what's even more difficult. And, you know, that's why they're fighting the ban. And we'll see what happens, how it shakes out.
There you see Kendall Bailey standing in. And she's adding the count 2-0. So in that changeover, Rachel Lawson moves Bailey Vick into left field, replacing Spangler, who is back down in the bullpen warming up. And I would have to think at this point in time, Autumn Humes would not have a lot of extra rope to operate with.
Well, Kentucky has a deep pitching staff. Grace Ballman's up in the bullpen. Spangler's been working out all game. And Spangler, you know, Missouri hasn't seen her yet. She is a lefty, gives a different presence on the mound. But, just Rachel Lawson has had a hard time finding the answer to slow down Missouri.
It's on the inside corner for a called strike.
I would be, if I depending on the pitcher on the mound and what their strengths were, I would be calling a lot of off-speed, a lot of change-ups, because Missouri, the timing, they have not been fooled at all with their timing with any of the pitchers with their harder pitches.
That ball lifted down toward the Kentucky bullpen and foul. So we saw Spangler at the start of the inning down there warming up, and when you saw that shot just a second ago, Spangler had stopped her warm-ups And Grace Ballman now down there getting loose in the Kentucky pin. Tough play in a hole for Reed. One she typically makes, but didn't come up with that one.
That ball eats her up a little bit, just doesn't continue through. Notice how she stops and tries to glove the ball. Would have loved to have seen her take one more step, driving hard toward left field, toward third base. Got to field the ball before you can throw it. Katy Reed got caught there trying to field the ball first, or excuse me, throw the ball first.
And she will be charged with an error. Looks like we've got a runner
for Missouri is number 3, Danny Garrison.
over at first base, Danny Garrison.
Batting for the Tigers, number 18, Kelly Martin.
And Kelly Martin stands in. Danny Garrison, 7 of 8 on the base pass this year. She's now had a couple of pitches to see what Autumn Humes does. The count now 1-1. We'll see if Larissa Anderson puts a play on.
Yeah, they've been aggressive all weekend long. I look for her to be in motion very soon.
Running on the pitch, and she will cruise into third base easily. And then ball gets loose in the infield, and Martin rolls into second. Nobody out, and runners at second and third as the Tigers look to add to that lead.
Martin squares this one up. It's a high outside pitch. Once again, Humes just knows it, looks down, knows she missed the pitch. Good base running there. That ball should have went right to second base, but Kowalik misses the throw, and that allows Martin to head into second base. Just some defensive miscues here for the Cats with the Reed error, the missed throw there by Kowalik, and Missouri finds themselves top of the order and runners in scoring position.
And Missouri has done this all weekend long in terms of the bottom of the order, setting things for the top, and that's a base hit that's got some eyes right back up the middle. Garrison scores. They hold the runner at third in Martin. And Wilmus goes into second. And Missouri, as you correctly said, Carol, just continues to put pressure on the Wildcats.
Yeah, and Humes continues to get an opportunity out there, but the ball is just not moving a lot. It's not stretched through the zone. And Missouri, the way they've been hitting and how contagious their hitting has been, Wilmus just gets enough of it, hits it right back up the middle.
Boy, and they are sitting on the first pitch right now, too, as Reagan Nash fouls one off. So Martin at third, Wilmus at second. One on the board already for the Tigers.
Tough play here for the Kentucky infield with Nash. You don't have time to check the runner. You either need to be going to 4 right away if the runner's breaking from third base, or 1. If you check it all, that allows Reagan Nash to be safe. So the Kentucky infield needs to be real sharp here if Nash gets a pitch to hit.
And she's now ahead in the count, 3-1. And the dangerous Jasmine Rollin in the on-deck circle. And Now she will step to the plate with the bases loaded.
Missouri couldn't draw it up any better here. Nobody out. Jasmine Rowland, Kim Wirt on deck. Their two best home run hitters. Two best RBI producers. Wilmus too. Wilmus also has quite a few RBIs, but this couldn't be a better situation for Missouri, and Kentucky continues to stay with Autumn Humes in this situation.
Nothing.
Jasmine Rollins showing you her power, her home run potential. This is from Friday night. It was a no-doubter over the right field wall. She is capable of hitting the ball a long way, and it would be a big difference in this game if she can do that.
No movement. No activity, rather, in the Kentucky pen, and no movement in the Kentucky dugout. That's a called strike. Again on Friday night, Humes touched up for 8 runs, all earned in 4 2/3. Line to second. And boy, talk about needing something good to happen. Kentucky had it happen there. They're not out of the inning yet, but a big-time double play.
Nice play by Martins. Good heads-up play to get 2 outs. You are absolutely right. It is all Missouri today. That could be the momentum shift Kentucky needs.
But they've still got to get past Kim Wirt.
Now with an open base here, I got to believe Kentucky's thinking unintentional, intentional walk. I know I would be thinking intentional walk. Wirt has been seeing the ball very well.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of RBIs in this series. Just hit a home run, their last at-bat off Autumn Humes. And be stretching the zone quite a bit with an open base.
Boy, and there is a line shot to center, and it gets past the diving Kowalik. Wilmus and Martin come in, and it's 7-1.
Wirt has been so good all series long, and with an open base, Kentucky elects to pitch to them. A outfield mistake by Kowalik, dives way too late. At that point, you want to give up the single, but there was no need to dive on that ball. Just get in front of it, keep the ball in front. Things falling apart here for Kentucky.
And so Garrison, who had come into the game as a pinch runner, hit in this spot last time up, but now the starter, Gina Torres, comes back in. She singled in her only time at the plate. And with 2 outs, she looks to keep the inning going with Wirt at second after the 2 RBI double. Humes has given up 7 runs on 8 hits. 4 of those are earned today.
And her pitch count, she's very close to 80 pitches already today, if not right at 80 pitches. And that's a lot of pitches through, we're not even through 4 innings.
79 to be exact, that's that coach in you.
Torres had a home run yesterday as well. She has long ball potential, long ball power. This pitch catching the outside part of the plate. Excellent pitch by Humes. Good tight spin on the ball. Good location.
And Torres keeps the inning alive as she draws the 2-out walk.
Now batting for Missouri, number 31, Patty Moore.
Kind of passed the bat this weekend. We saw it Friday, we saw it Saturday. I mean, the amount of runs that Missouri has put up, 8 Friday, 11 yesterday. Already at 7. Potential to put up more. We're only halfway through the game. And it's been consistent. It's been through the lineup. It's been inning after inning. It's not like they've scored 8 in one inning and none the rest of the game. You look up at the scoreboard again today, 3 out of 4 innings they've already scored. Been very impressive showing by the Missouri offense.
Moore looking for her first hit on the day. Walked both times, and Cheek steps on third to end the inning. But not before the Tigers get 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error. They leave 2 on base. The Wildcats in a 7-1 hole.
Tatum Spangler up in the bullpen for Kentucky. She's gotten a lot of practice in that bullpen.
Yes, she
Started the
has.
game in left field and has been warming up all game. And so far, Kentucky has elected to stick with Autumn Humes in the circle.
Now for Kentucky, number 11, Gabby Cheek.
Wildcats and Abby Cheek, who's responsible for their only run, stepping to the plate here to start the home half of the 4th, and the Wildcats in a big hole.
Cheek having a good weekend individually. As you mentioned, 3 for 3 yesterday. Home run already today. Just seeing the ball well. She can hit to all parts of the zone, all parts of the fields. And that pitch is, the off-speed pitch is, you know, yesterday she took an off-speed pitch and drove it deep, but that's the way to work with Abby Cheek, is to stretch the zone, work all parts of the zone, and you've got to disrupt her timing with an off-speed.
Well, you talked about Humes that last inning being up at that 80 pitch mark. That was just number 49, I believe, 51 rather, for Norman. And that 1-2 pitch was a nice off-speed offering that just missed.
And the infield's playing very deep, as they should, with 2 strikes. Abby Cheek keeps you honest because, you know, she'll drop a bunt with less than 2 strikes as well. But if I was an infielder, it's as hard as Abby Cheek hits the ball, I'd play as deep as I possibly could to still throw her out at first base. And,
especially with a 6-run lead, right?
Yeah, but she hits the ball so hard. She rarely dribbles the ball, and you want to give yourself as much range as you can.
Pop that one up wide of the Kentucky bullpen. Spangler, as we mentioned, down there working the left-hander, and Larissa Spellman, the right-hander, up as well. As Missouri has just kept pounding the ball this weekend. Now 28 runs. And we're not even through the 3rd and final game of the weekend.
And how about the fact they've done it on the road at coming into the game, the number 14th ranked team in the country. Comes in as 7 RPI, so, you know, played a very tough schedule, has Kentucky, so's Missouri. And it's just very impressive performance so far from the Tigers.
That 3-2 pitch up and out of the zone. Only the 2nd walk of the afternoon for Norman. And Alex Martins will try to capitalize on that as Rachel Lawson is going to go with a runner for Abby Cheek.
Great at bat by Abby Cheek, fouled a few off. Really disciplined in the zone. That last pitch clearly out of the zone. But, you know, if you're Maddie Norman, you've got to be careful with Cheek as well. So, but Cheek has seen the ball so well, and her on-base percentage just continues to grow.
JC Babbs, the pinch runner over at first. There you see her, number 14.
Returning to the Wildcats at first for 14, Casey Bass.
And Martins,
number 33, Alex Martins,
steps in.
Kentucky has some offensive, firepower as well. They've scored a ton of runs this weekend, and they came into this weekend 30th in the country in batting average, top 15 in terms of runs scored, and but Missouri's been a little better.
And Missouri has had that timely hitting, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. The Wildcats had actually out-hit the Tigers 22-20 coming into this one. But it was back-to-back Missouri wins that set us up for this afternoon. Martins drives it into the hole, and she'll be thrown out at first, while the pinch runner Babbs advances to second.
Yeah, you might think if you're Kendall Bailey, why not try to turn 2? It's ground ball to second baseman, but watch where the ball takes her. Take your easiest out. You've got a big lead. JC Babbs keeps her feet moving, but the ball is heading toward first base. You want more outs. If you're Missouri, you're kind of counting outs versus runs given up here, and that was a good decision by Bailey.
Mallory Payton hits one a bunch to the track and right, but Wilmus got it and kept Babbs from advancing. Wilmus, who's done an outstanding job defensively. We saw her take a home run away on Friday night. Can't
say enough about Brooke Wilmus. Remember, she's only been playing out in right field less than 10 games this season. But Coach Anderson is so proud of her, typically a second baseman. Try to get Bailey and Wilmus on the field at the same time, so Wilmus went out to right field, and she has made just catch after catch after catch that have been highlight reels in right field.
And Lauren Johnson steps in with 2 outs. She has one of the 2 Kentucky base hits, a single in the second. Only other Kentucky hit, the Abby Cheek home run.
Well, Babbs is still at second base. Could have easily been at third base. Got too excited, jumped off the bag on Payton's hit, and should have tagged up on that play and could have easily advanced to third. And I know Coach Himes was talking to her about that after that play, but should have easily advanced. And now Coach Anderson going out to talk to her senior pitcher. Pitching a good game, but notices her, got hit pretty hard by Payton, although Wilmus made a nice catch in right field and now falls behind Johnson. He's giving her a little pep talk and keeping this game where it is if you're Missouri.
I don't know if she's got anything physically going on or not. Her last warm-up pitch kind of came off her hand funny and went in the dirt. She was shaking her hand afterwards. And you talked about how calluses and things with blisters can pop up.
There's literally nothing worse for a pitcher than having a finger that's split open from the seams.
Mm-hmm.
You see it a lot with all kinds of pitchers, rise ball, drop ball, anything. If you just pull and pull and pull, and if you get it, it's so hard to heal up. You soak it in pickle juice. The acid's supposed to help it. You put wax on it. It's supposed to soften it up. Super glue. Pitchers, if they have to, for an immediate fix, they'll super glue it. I've had many, many pitchers over the years put a ton of super glue, which cannot be a good thing. And just trying to hold it together, but sometimes it rips through that. It is very frustrating. I don't think Norman has that going on right now. I hope not, but it is a very frustrating thing for a pitcher.
Boy, and there's a shot that couldn't be handled at second base by Bailey. That allows Babs to come in and score. And Kentucky cuts the lead to 7-2.
Johnson turns on this pitch, keeps her barrel low in the zone. 2 for 2 today for Johnson. And Babs would have scored easily from third base on that, but she had to work a little harder coming from second. So she didn't advance on the sac fly. Wouldn't have been a sac fly. No run was scored on the fly ball to Wilmus.
Right.
But Johnson steps up for her team. 2-out RBI.
Her second hit of the day and the third for the Wildcats. And Autumn Humes back up the middle with a first pitch single. And I bet we see somebody heat up in a hurry down in the Missouri bullpen, as they have really begun to time up Maddie Norman.
Well, as we mentioned, Kentucky can hit the ball too. Right now, this pitch is not dropping as effectively as it has been for Norman. She's leaving it too high in the zone. And to Kentucky's credit, they're staying aggressive. They're attacking the ball.
Takaya Gar Carter, now the pinch runner at first base for Kentucky. And it looks like Eli Daniel is quickly up and beginning to work in the Missouri pen. And with 2 outs, it's the right fielder, Sarah Rainwater. If she can extend this inning, it'll go back to Kayla Kowalik at the top of the order, who has been playing center field, but you see her in the on-deck circle with the shin guards on. That one just misses on the outside part of the plate. Little flare, that's into left center for a base hit. Johnson scores. Gar Carter slides into third, and Rainwater, trying to get into scoring position, is punched out behind the play at second. And so Rachel Lawson going out to argue the call, but it was Brian Crochet. And I'm not sure, what is she asking about Carroll.
She's, I'm not really sure. Either arguing the out safe call, or maybe the potential for some sort of
interference or something,
obstruction on the defense. Or I'm not really sure.
That would be the only reason the other umpires could come into play.
That's probably what they're discussing. Great heads-up play by Missouri. The ball's being thrown all over the place. Still have an out, and the inning is over.
But not before the Cats get 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and at the end of 4, it's 7-3. So the Wildcats able to get a couple in the inning. Sarah Rainwater with the RBI, but then she gets punched out at second.
Well, and if she would have been running a little harder there, didn't round first base very hard, but felt like she got her hand in there under the tag, and but was called out, and we're gonna have a new pitcher.
Okay, so into the Kentucky lineup comes Tatum Spangler, who started this game in left field. Spangler, the freshman from out in Nevada, and in the circle, 3-0, despite a 4.80 ERA. She's appeared in 5 games, started 2, 11 2/3 innings, 12 hits, 8 runs. They've all been earned.
Yeah, just trying to give Missouri a new look. This is a lefty pitcher. They haven't seen a lefty pitcher yet, trying to do anything they can to slow it down. Kowalik moves from center field back behind the plate. Lauren Johnson's going to go out to right field as the DP. She's now, switched over to right field. So a couple defensive changes for the Cats.
And so Spangler starts things with a ball. And that ball stays up and away. And it looks like Renee Abernathy is checked in, playing left field as well. And Spangler, there you see Abernathy. Spangler has come in and not yet found the strike zone. Colby Romaine, 2 RBIs to start the game in the second. Flown out to the right fielder, and now a walk here in the 5th.
Once again, this Kentucky staff continues to struggle. Spangler's not giving her an out, but it is her first appearance here in this series, but it's not what you're looking for. Missouri has had a ton of walks in this series, had 16 coming into this game. And that has been very effective for them as we see a pinch runner now come in for Romaine.
Going to be Abby George, the sophomore.
Pitch running for Missouri, number 99, Abby George.
And the way things have gone for Missouri today and this weekend, with a new catcher and new pitcher in there, I would not be surprised if Larissa Anderson didn't try to generate some more offense.
Yeah, and why not? And Abby George has been a starter off and on a lot of the season. Already has 4 stolen bases coming into this game. And it's been effective. It's worked for them. And as you mentioned, with a new battery, good time to try.
And the off-speed pitch from Spangler stays upstairs. Bailey is lined out to short and reached on an error by Katy Reed. Goes right at her again. And boy, that's about the same play as the last time. And that ball was hard hit, but we've just become accustomed to Katy Reed making those plays, and they rule that one a base hit.
Yeah, these are plays Katy Reed typically would make. Good hard contact, but Reed stopping short instead of coming through the ball. You can see she's trying to time it, slowing down herself just to field it. And, you know, typically she's going to take one more step, really drive through that ball.
Call first strike to Kelly Martin, the center fielder. Martin singled last time up. And once again, no outs in the inning. And after Martin, it's the top of the order.
Spangler having a hard time finding the zone, trying to get her spin working, mainly works in and out. Does have an off speed, but he's having a hard time finding that strike zone. That was the best pitch she's thrown right there. Good screwball in the outside corner. She's got good zip, good snap. Very, very athletic out there on the mound, clearly, because she plays other positions as well and also hits. But they need a little spark. Kentucky needs a little spark in the circle.
2-2 pitches lifted to right. And Johnson back to first. Did they get the double play? It was really, really close.
A good heads-up play by Johnson. Sees that she's got an opportunity, but an even better is what Abby George did at second base. Tagged up. Once Abby George saw that this throw did go to first base, she advances to third.
Yep.
It's good heads-up base running by Missouri. We've seen it all weekend long.
And so now you've still got runners at the corner and only one out in the top of the order in Brooke Wilmus. 2 for 3 on the day.
Well, even though Bailey at first base doesn't have any steals on the year, this is a good time to put a runner in motion. You've got a freshman catcher who just came in the game. Pitcher's throwing a few too many balls out there. Good time to run, but
wow.
No need.
And that's the last thing you want to do in a situation like that, is give somebody a free base.
And with Nash the slapper up, more than likely we're going to see a pinch hitter in this situation. Missouri wanting the ball, opportunity to hit the ball deep, less than 2 outs. 2 outs, we may have still seen Nash, but now with less than 2 outs, this pitch gets away from Spangler, trying to throw that screwball inside, and Wilmus takes one for the team.
Looks like it will be 13. Kara Decker, a sophomore left-hander, as Rachel Lawson comes out. Decker played in 16 games, hitting .412. She's got 7 hits and 17 at-bats, 3 doubles, 3 knocked in. And it's a big-time tough spot for the Wildcats. And I don't know, Carol, it seems like they've been in spots like this all weekend.
It has. Missouri's had Kentucky on their heels. And just when they've had a little glimpse of hope, they kind of get a couple runs back or something happens, Missouri just answers right back. It's been a battle in the circle for Kentucky all weekend long. And entire pitching staff has had an uncharacteristically, just a tough weekend, but Missouri has made them pay. They have squared the ball up time and time again.
That wind now blowing out toward left center. Only one out here in the 5th. George at third, Bailey at second, Wilmus at first. And the pinch hitter Decker looks at the 1-1 pitch. The dangerous Jasmine Rollin awaits on deck, and then behind her, Kim Wirt.
And Missouri has found themselves in favorable counts. They have produced. They've had a ton of runs, ton of hits. Right. They've produced, but they have found themselves, they've worked themselves into favorable counts. And pinch hitter Decker right now in a 3-1 count.
Got a pitch she liked. Oh, how about the play by Martins? And they turn it. Oh, my goodness. What a defensive play that stops what could have been a huge inning for the Tigers.
Decker hits it on the nose, but how about the exchange from Martin and Reed? That's what Kentucky may need for the comeback.
Tigers of Missouri were on the verge of blowing this one open before this play, Carol.
You like defense, you will love this play. You're not going to see a better double play maybe all season long. Great effort by Alex Martins to get to the ball, backhand flip in perfect position, and Katy Reed finishes it off. Very timely double play. That could have been another big inning for Missouri.
Cats able to get out of the inning without any damage as they still try to battle back from a 4-run deficit. And it's the top of the Kentucky order: Kowalik, Reed, and Shaper. Ball down the line, and Nash unable to run it down. Norman back out there, and now more activity in the Missouri pen. Eli Daniel has been there for about an inning and a half, and she's joined down there now by the Wildcat killer, Cassie Gaspers. That ball is driven deep. One hop off the wall. Johnson looking at third, but she goes in. Kowalik goes in to second with a stand-up double. And Carol, how many times have we seen the slapper do this the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's swinging. That's what makes Kowalik so tough. She can bunt, slap, shows you her power, her ability to swing the bat. Thought about stretching it into a triple, but when you're down 4, second half of the game here, wisely takes the leadoff double.
The only other left-handed bat in the lineup besides Johnson. And now Katy Reed. Grounded out to the pitcher. And was able to beat one out and avoid a double play.
And now we're starting to see Norman fall behind. Yeah, catcher's going out to talk with her a little bit. Just not quite as sharp with that drop ball. When her drop ball is on, it is nasty. It drops, breaks late in the zone. Off-speed pitch has been effective, but late in the last inning and now early in this inning, that drop is just not having the same effect. Let's see if she can make some adjustments.
That's a shot down the left field line. It'll score Kowalik. Reed hustles into second. That ball was hit on a rope. And after that big defensive play to end the top of the 5th, Kentucky comes right back and cuts the lead to 3.
can see the location of that pitch. That's a drop ball. It's just not dropping. And right now, Kentucky is making her pay. Right down the line from Katy Reed. And Kentucky gets another run back. We got a walk to the mound here from Coach Anderson. May see a pitching change, or it may be a conversation about what types of adjustments Norman needs to make with that release point. Get on top of the drop ball a little more. She throws a straight peel drop. So her hand is actually flat. The palm of her hand is flat to the catcher, and she peels it straight up to get that spin. And it's all about the release point with that type of pitch, and looks like we're going to have a pitching change.
Talked to her for a few minutes and then went straight back to our home plate umpire, Chad Steers, and it'll be Eli Daniel who will check in. We'll tell you all about her when we come right back as Kentucky trails by 3. The Wildcats timing up Maddie Norman, and she gives way to the junior Eli Daniel.
Haven't seen a whole lot of Eli Daniel this weekend, but she comes in an opportunity in Game 3 to slow down Kentucky. You're going to see her throw a lot of curveball. Throws a curveball to both sides of the plate, backdoor curve and a regular curve. Does have an off-speed ball, and when you throw the ball east-west, side to side, you have to have a lot of spin on that ball or it can get very flat. So looking to spin the ball.
She works to Jenny Shaper, who's looking for her first hit on the day. Norman goes 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned, 2 walks and a strikeout. She threw 76 pitches, and she, of course, is responsible for Katy Reed out there at second. Reed is grounded out to third. Excuse me, Shaper has grounded out to third, lined out to short. Took a little something off that and had some movement on it.
Yeah, and a lot of times she'll cut up that curveball, so just the way she changes her hand position, the angle of it, it's curveball spin, still coming across, but she can also angle it up in the zone.
That one is lifted to right field. Reed is going to tag. And a nice play out there again. How about Wilmus? We've talked about it all weekend. And she keeps Reed from advancing. So with 1 out, here's Abby Cheek. Got number 50 for the Wildcats' first run back in the second. Got a good pitch to hit there.
She's been on base. Last 4 plate appearances yesterday. First 2 plate appearances today.
Rachel Lawson out there.
Just making sure she did re-enter Cheek. Even though she's played a little defense, just sometimes as a coach you have a lot, especially today,
right.
A lot of switches and changes. You just want to make sure that you've done your due diligence. the base open here. You know, big lead still for Missouri, but you can close up in a second if this ball goes over the fence. But they're electing to pitch to Cheek, even though first base is open. Showing a lot of confidence in Daniel.
That ball lifted to right field. Reed tags again. Good throw from Wilmus. Wow. Kind of been one of those weekends. You could see that one coming, but it took a perfect throw from Wilmus, a great tag from Worth, and the Wildcats get a run on 2 hits, no errors. They leave nobody on base. We have played 5 complete, and the Tigers lead by 3. Brooke Wilmus has done it with a bat, and here, Carol, a great throw from right field.
Has seemed to found a home in right field. Katy Reed has exceptional speed, but Wilmus throws a perfect strike, and Wirt with the tag. And what a way to end the inning for Missouri. On the double play, we saw Kentucky end it with an infield double play, and Missouri ends it with an outfield assist on the double play.
Second full inning of work for Tatum Spangler. And she takes ball 1. Does Jasmine Rollin. 1 for 3 on the day. And that one is popped up back to the screen and just over it. As we begin the 6th inning of play, Dave Baker, Carol Bruggeman. Glad you've joined us on the SEC Network.
Rollin is going to be a fun player to watch over the next 3 years. She's going to be fun second half of her freshman year, but she is so athletic and so explosive and powerful. See that batting average up over 450.
Boy, and that is, am I right, second batter that Spangler has hit in as many innings.
She's faced 6 batters, 2 walks and 1 hit, and sorry, 1 walk and 2 hit batters. No chance. That's a screwball that just started out too wide and ended up wider, and that hit her on an odd spot.
Gasper has stopped for the minute. She has been working down in the Missouri bullpen. Grace Ballman was just working in the Kentucky pen. And Rachel Lawson comes out, and I'm not sure what this discussion is about. I think Spangler she motioned to her elbow there like something was wrong.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a switch. And we've had a lot of switches in this game already, so we'll see if Spangler stays in the game. Looks like she is going to left field, which is where she started the game.
And that would be Abernathy who would be coming out. When she looks like she's in some discomfort right there, right? Like that pitch got away from her, no question.
Certainly does. And, you know, but obviously it must be more of her pitching motion since she's staying out in left field.
I guess.
So she heads back out to left field. Abernathy comes back in, and we're going to switch to Grace Ballman.
So Grace Ballman, the new Kentucky pitcher, her third appearance of the weekend. Friday night, 2 1/3, a hit, 2 runs. They were both earned. And yesterday, pitched 1 inning, 3 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned and 3 walks in 41 pitches.
And more of a pitcher that works all through the zone. She can work all 4 quadrants. Throws the ball harder, the hardest thrower we've seen for Kentucky today.
Kim Wirt behind an account 0-2. Rollin over at first base after being hit on the pitch that ended the day for Spangler. Boy, and Katy Reed made a nice play right there. Looked like she was actually headed over to cover the bag and had to stop and reconfigure herself, and so they get the out, and Rollin moves to second.
Oh, you got that right. It was a hit and run. So Reed is, first responsibility is always the ball that's hit. But on the pitch, takes a step over, but still is able to shift her feet. And her only out in that situation was to first base.
So with 1 down now, Torres stands in. Rollin at second. Three-run game here in the top of the 6th, and we continue to see action in both bullpens. Spellman down in the Kentucky bullpen. Cassie Gasper continues to work for Missouri, and she's been joined now by a sophomore, Summer Shockley.
And why not? We've seen a lot of pitchers from both staffs this entire series, and really no one's been able to slow down the offense in its entirety. Probably Gasper from Missouri has been the most effective. We haven't seen her yet today. But she does have the 2 wins in the series.
Ballman just missed outside to run the count to 3-2. That's a beauty on the outside part of the plate. Obviously the first strikeout for Ballman.
Well, 2 batters face, 2 outs for Grace Ballman, who has a lot of zip today. Look at that ball bend. It's a screwball, just kind of keeps running into the zone and freezes Torres.
And with 2 outs, the catcher, Hattie Moore, stands in. And that one off the fist in the left field for a base hit. Rollin will score. Moore with a nice job at 2-out hitting. That was a good pitch from Ballman, but she fought it off the fists for an RBI single. And the Missouri lead is once again 4.
That's some timely hitting, as you mentioned. Gets it off the inside part of the bat, but just enough to get to the outfield. And with the speed of Rollin, there's no play at the plate.
And the 7-hitter, Colby Romaine, stands in. Again, she had the 2 RBI single back in the 2nd. That ball lifted to left. Spangler got turned around, but hauled it in. But not before the Tigers get a run, a hit, No errors. They leave one on base, and they lead 8. Rachel Lawson there with Molly Johnson-Belcher and Christine Himes, her assistants, trying to figure out how to get something going offensively. As we take a look at the up-to-date SEC standings, Carol, what jumps off the page at you?
Oh, a couple things. Just the fact that Alabama's undefeated on the season. Very, very rare this late in the season to be undefeated.
Murph's having a good year.
Also undefeated in conference play. LSU has an exceptional team this year, a lot of offense. A couple things that jump out. Missouri in the middle of the pack after, it's still a lot of games to go. And Florida finds themselves on the side of the standings that they typically aren't, which is more toward the bottom. They have played a very difficult slate so far, very difficult schedule, so I expect them to jump back up.
Boy, and up 4 runs here in the home half of the 6th inning. Daniel with the first pitch hits Martins, and she will probably be lifted for a pinch runner. And it is 24, Kennedy Cowden. Carol, didn't Murph get one of those milestone wins earlier this year? It was one of those big numbers, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's the first SEC coach to I can't remember the exact number, but he's the first SEC coach to a big number of milestone.
I think it's like 400 or
SEC
something.
wins,
right.
Yeah, which is he's been at Alabama a long time, and they've had a very successful program. He's got a pitcher on his staff from the state of Kentucky, Montana Fouts, who's also in the running for the SEC Pitcher of the Year. Their ace has come in and done an exceptional job for them.
And so, the pinch runner, Cowden at first, nobody out. And Mallory Payton looking for her first hit of the day. Lifted it up to the shortstop. And there's one down.
And all the outs from Kentucky off Eli Daniel have been fly ball outs. They're getting out in front. She got a little more spin than Norman, and they're getting out in front. They just need to be a little more patient, let the ball get deep into the zone.
Number 9, Lauren Johnson.
And to Daniel's credit, she is spinning the ball through the zone, getting a lot of movement on it.
And Lauren Johnson, perfect 2-for-2 day for her, including an RBI. That's a nice pitch. I think that's her best right there in the outside part of the plate. The spinner there and gets a called strike.
Oh, what an off-speed pitch by Eli Daniel. Haven't seen it a whole lot.
Number 3, Grace Ballman.
Takes a little bit off. It's right over the middle of the plate, but it's not the location that fooled Johnson. It was the speed that fooled her to get the strikeout.
And Grace Ballman will be hitting in the spot formerly occupied by Humes. Boy, Daniel has a lot of stuff going on out there, Carol. I mean, she's got some emotion to her. She's pointing at people, her own teammates and everything. And I mean, she is a bundle of energy out there.
Oh yeah, and you got to play to your personality. You know, a lot of pitchers are real stoic and don't show a lot of emotion, and and that's when they pitch their best. And others like Daniel, they've got to let it out, show that emotion. Had a big fist pump after the strikeout last time, and saw it again.
And there's another one. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left on base for the Wildcats. We head to the 7th, and it's 8-4 Tigers. Missouri dugout 3 outs away from completing the sweep over Kentucky. It's been big back-to-back weekends for them, Carol, as we look ahead at the Tigers' schedule.
Yeah, play Tennessee at home next weekend and a Saturday, Sunday, Monday slate. Wichita State having another great season. They play at home in a tournament where they'll play Pittsburgh and Oregon. You might think that's a little odd in the middle of the season, but what happens a lot is a lot of conferences have a bye weekend, and they'll look for the other teams in those conferences. Hey, who's got the bye weekend? And Pittsburgh, obviously does in the ACC that weekend. Oregon in the Pac-12, they all get together and decide to play. And, it's been a lot of fun. You've seen that across the country. We've seen more ranked opponents playing each other in February than ever.
Sure.
It's been great for softball, and then in the middle of the conference seasons, we've seen a lot of great matchups, and that weekend will be a lot of fun.
Kendall Bailey. One for 3 on the day. And that one handled by Reed, 1 up, 1 down.
Sometimes these are the toughest plays right at you when you don't have to move a whole lot. Katy Reed makes it look easy.
Missouri number 18, Allie Martin.
Eight runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Tigers. 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Wildcats. Quickly, Martin ahead 3-0.
Seen this a lot this weekend. There's a lot of free bases, whether it's a walk, as Martin draws right there, hit batters. And then, Missouri has capitalized on that with the amount of hits they've had. Double-digit hits today. Haven't got to double-digit runs yet, but in the other 2 games they have. Very rare. First time back-to-back 10 or more runs given up by Kentucky since 2008. Coach Lawson's first year. Just a lot of big numbers for the Missouri offense this weekend.
And Wilmus, who we've seen do so much with the glove today, obviously doing it with the bat as well, as she's 2 for 3. And you talked about what Missouri had done offensively, Carol. It's like the last 2 weekends. Last week, taking the last 2 from Georgia. They lost the opener 1-0, but then they come back and put up 7 and 8 in the final 2 games of the series to take it.
Oh, and what? Check out this off-speed pitch by Ballman. Completely fools Wilmus. Almost swings before the ball even gets to the catcher's mitt.
Reed has it. Martins turns. And Wilmus in there easily, but the lead runner cut down. And they're 2 down.
Now this infield combination of Reed and Martins has been so tough all weekend long. No chance for the double play. Wilmus too much speed, but getting that lead out key, as Missouri's scored a lot of runners when they've been in scoring position.
Reagan Nash, sacrificed back in the first, lined out to Cheek in the third. Picked up a walk in the fourth. Gets a call upstairs.
Let's see who wins this one-on-one game this time between Nash and Cheek.
It's been a whole weekend thing. First time Nash has gone to the right side, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The Cats with one to get 4. So, if things look amiss to you, Carol Bruggeman, we are not yet to the bottom of the 7th inning. May you explain?
Alex Martin, last inning, was run for by Kennedy Cowden, and she was inadvertently, by Coach Lawson, whoever does the re-entries, not re-entered into the game. And when the ground ball that Nash hit went to her, it just negated the play. So we go back. It's a ball. It's just like it didn't happen. Nash gets another opportunity.
Wow. And then the runner takes off. On the first pitch, it was the leadoff hitter, Wilmus. Ball gets by Shaper. It'll be a wild pitch. And so the count 2-2 on Nash. And that will be the end of the inning. The Wildcats still with one at bat to get 4. So the Wildcats down to their final at bat, trying to stave off a sweep by Missouri as the Tigers send Eli Daniel back out into the circle with a 4-run 7th inning lead. For Kentucky, it'll be Rainwater and the top of the order. Last time up, Sarah Rainwater had an RBI single and then got punched out trying to leg it into a double. Little flare, and that's the first out of the inning to Raleigh.
Daniel's done enough. Curveball on the outside part of the plate that Rainwater tries to pull. And just can't say enough about this Missouri team this weekend. After coming off a tough loss against a very good Bradley team midweek where Coach Anderson felt like their team didn't even show up. It was an 8-1, and she said it wasn't even that close. They come right back and come into John Kropp Stadium against the number 14 team in the country, and they have just hit the ball scored a ton of runs. Their pitching staff's done enough. They played enough defense, and they find themselves 2 outs away from a sweep.
Boy, and you mentioned the fact we've not seen Daniel a lot this weekend, but she has looked good since coming into this one.
Yeah, real sharp, as you mentioned, pitching with a lot of emotion, good tempo.
And the 1-2 to Kowalik. Got her on the outside corner. And the Tigers now just 1 out away as Katy Reed stands in.
Daniel's been very effective, as you mentioned, in relief. 3 strikeouts since she's come in the game, just pounding the strike zone, spinning the ball. Great location there, right at the top of the zone.
Lifted to right field. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel. Missouri, an impressive sweep of the weekend series. And the first time the Wildcats have been swept at home, Carol, since Tennessee did it in 2017.
Just an impressive performance all weekend long. It was a true team effort. They used a lot of their pitchers. They hit through the lineup and really dominated this Kentucky team in really what was knockout punch after knockout punch.
So for Carol Bruggeman, I'm Dave Baker saying so long from Lexington, where the final score is Missouri 8 and Kentucky 4. Our next telecast on the SEC Plus Network will be Tuesday night when Western Kentucky comes to town. First pitch is at 6 Eastern. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games in our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a